My Democratic sources on this are a pair of Texas Democrats who served together in the U.S. House, but would potentially have to run against each other next year under these new maps if they get approved. Congressman Lloyd Doggett and Greg Casar are here, and it's great to have you both. I want to ask you both this question because in this map, the two of you could end up running against each other. Will you both, do you both plan to do that if this map, which it seems like it will be, is approved by the Texas state legislature?
Well, I think we both have made our commitment that we don't want the Republicans pitting us against each other. We're turning the spotlight on Trump and the wrongs that have been committed. I've said since Austin's the only town I've ever called home, and I've already filed with the FEC to run in the district that still has 2/3 of the people that I represent today, that I wanted to represent that district. But my focus is not on the what if might happen in the future. My focus is on what if we give Trump the power to completely change the composition of the House in order to stay in power.
And Congressman, what is your response to what you just heard from the Republican state representative there, Brian Harrison, on basically the justification for doing this, saying that Democrats have done it effectively, so Republicans are going to try to do it more effectively?
I mean, what the representative clearly failed to mention is that the independent Brennan Center notes that Republicans have gerrymandered 16 seats nationwide net against Democrats. And Mr. Harrison also failed to mention that it's been Republicans that have blocked every single attempt at the congressional level to ban gerrymandering nationwide. Racial gerrymandering and extreme gerrymandering is a Republican affair. But now what Democrats are left with is the concern of whether we unilaterally disarm or fight back. And that's where we're fighting back. And then critically, you did not hear a word out of Mr. Harrison's mouth about lowering costs for Texans or providing relief to the Texans that were just devastated by these floods, or about addressing the fact that Texas has the highest uninsured rate in America. He clearly is just carrying Donald Trump's water and trying to cover up for Donald Trump's corruption and crimes instead of serving everyday Texans. And I apologize to the viewers of this network that they had to listen to so much lies and so much misinformation in that short segment.
And Congressman Doggett, on that front, obviously the reason we had him on is to hear from him on that front and to hear what Republicans are doing because, the belief at the White House is, yeah, Democrats have left the state, they're protesting this, but this is actually going to get passed. They don't have the votes to ultimately to block it. Obviously, they can delay it or stall it. When you hear that, though, and you hear what the governor of New York is saying, Kathy Hochul, that she believes Democrats are at war here over redistricting, do you think that states like New York and California should fight back by redrawing maps of their own?
Well, President Trump has been clear that he's declared war on America when it comes to using these gerrymandering schemes. And I think Mr. Harrison was at least candid about the fact that this map is not his. There wasn't any great awakening in the Republican Party that said, let's have some more gerrymandering to catch up with Democrats. No, this was strictly a Trump map. It is not even an Abbott map. It is Donald Trump sending his orders to his minions in Texas to do whatever they need to do, to make whatever threats they need to make, to engage in intimidation, to assure that they get a map that will deliver him 5 new Republicans. And what that means, and Greg was so correct in what he said about this, but what that means is there will be 5 people up there instead of 5 Democrats, 5 people who don't believe in protecting women's health. I had the first reproductive health hearing here on Saturday, and to hear the story of women who wanted to have babies but were restricted by these Republican laws and almost lost their lives when they had miscarriages and the like, it's heartbreaking. And that's what's at stake. These are things that affect Americans in their daily life. When people in 3 months from now go out to get their Affordable Care Act policy and they find it costs 75% more because of the big ugly bill, that's what Trump wants to keep. When we need to change it, we will be 5 short if they are successful here, and if he continues to carry this to Missouri, to Florida, to other states, to add to his margin.
Congressman Casar, do you think that that's going to end up happening here? Because I do think it's important to note this isn't just something that the president's team wants to happen in Texas. They do want this to happen in Missouri. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis said he might take a look at this as well.
This is a 5-alarm fire for our democracy. Donald Trump is the most corrupt president in American history, and he has no plan for winning the upcoming midterm elections. So he essentially is demanding that his cronies rig those elections for him in this corrupt scheme. That's why I'm so proud of the Texas Democrats who are showing up the entire nation what it looks like to fight by going out across the country. We need everyone viewing at home across America to say, even if we may have our differences on some issues, at the end of the day, we should have the voters pick their politicians, not have politicians pick their voters. Donald Trump should not get to pick who your member of Congress is. And what's really important about what's happening here in Austin is that by trying to merge my district with Congressman Doggett's district, it's ultimately a violation of the Voting Rights Act of 1965. It disenfranchises the Latino voters that have a protected district here in Central Texas. And if Donald Trump is allowed to shred the Voting Rights Act here in Austin, he wants to spread that across America, just like you mentioned, Caitlin, in Missouri or in Louisiana or who knows where else.
Yeah, and I'm sure we'll see legal fights play out, but this map could still be in place by next midterms. But Congressman Doggett, on that front, does Brian Harrison have a point when he says, well, look at Illinois and their 13th district and how it's drawn? We have a picture of it, I believe, saying, you know, this very interestingly carved district is happening in Illinois. Why can't it happen in Texas?
Well, they had their opportunity to gerrymander however they wanted when the last census was completed, and they did a pretty good job of protecting all their members so that out of 38 members in Texas, we didn't have many seats in which, maybe only one, in which we could challenge them. This is not the result of what happened in Illinois at the last census. What it is a reaction to Trump's order, and we applaud what Governor Newsom is doing. I would like to see nonpartisan citizen commissions all over the country, but it can't be that you have fairness only in the Democratic states and extreme gerrymandering to serve a president's interest in states like Texas. And so the action in California is important. It's important to do it in some other states. We cannot turn over this House to more compliant Republicans just because Donald Trump wins the election this year instead of next year.
Congressman Lloyd Doggett and Greg Casar, it's great to have you both on, especially just given the dynamic this could set up for both of you. Thanks for your time.